สวัสดีเช้าวันใหม่ครับดูสั่งพักที่โรงแรม Fairfield Inn and Suites นะครับ Marriott โรงแรมนี้จะตั้งอยู่ตรงข้ามกับสนามบินวอชิงตันอะไรสักอย่างหนึ่งนะครับรวมอยู่ในทัวร์เรียบร้อยแล้วแต่ว่าไม่รวมอาหารเช้าครับอาหารเช้าจะต้องเสียเองเพิ่ม8 เหรียญนะครับแต่ดูสั่งมีแล้วในกระเป๋านี่ก็เดินอยู่ด้านหน้านะครับ
Okay, come here. Come here this way. 看后面的人。1863, 12 years. And you see that statue on the top of the building is called the Statue of Freedom. Yes, and we will have the walking tour inside the candle. We will go inside the candle. Very beautiful.
Statue of Freedom.
我给大家出来照相，咱们先走。Okay, let's go first and after walking tour, I will give you guys some time.
อยู่กันกำลังจะเข้าไปข้างในนะครับแต่ว่าจะต้องมีการผ่านด่าน security กันก่อนอันนี้ก็เดินเข้ามาข้างในแล้วนะครับอันนี้ก็เป็นฮอลล์ข้างหน้านี่เขาจะเป็นไกด์นะครับ checking all the headphones
Plus and minus button on one side. It's the volume.
ต้องมีใส่ headphone อย่างนี้ด้วยนี้บิวซังไม่สามารถให้ฟังเสียงได้นะครับเพราะว่าเสียงอยู่ในหูเอียร์โฟนของบิวซังเอง
Talk about one thing, then actually take us upstairs to see the two main rooms of the tour, and those are the statues you see in this room. We'll see a lot of statues throughout the tour here. There are two types of statues in the Capitol building. There are congressional statues, which are added by Congress themselves, and then there are what's called state statues. Back in the 1860s, they started what's called the National Statuary Collection, which allowed all the states to send in 2 of their own statues to represent their states here in the building. So as you look around and you see a state's name on a statue, you'll know right away that was added by a state. Also, the state statues can only be full-sized. They don't have to be life-size, but they have to be full-size. So anytime you see a bust or an incomplete statue, you'll know right away that was added by Congress. And if the states want to, they can replace one of their statues too. It's happened a few times in the last few years, actually.
OK，等一下呢，然后我们会去上去看几个大厅，然后一个是这个议会大厅，然后呢还会看一个是大厅。
What's called the Rotunda. It's the room directly above us, so we're going to see the inside of the Capitol Dome for the first time. So if you could please stay close and follow me right this way. And if you do me a favor, guys, when we go into this next room, please follow me all the way to the room, and please do not stop. And folks, again, do not stop at the door. Come all the way in.
OK， come here。
Much better view when you get over here anyway.
Yes, yes.
Everyone, so again, this room is called the Rotunda. This is where they hold what's called the lying in state ceremony. So anytime you see a U.S. president, congressman, or someone pass away, they can be laid in state in the center of this room. It's a ceremony which has only occurred 28 times in history, and the last one was for U.S. President Gerald Ford. But this room is mostly just for ceremonial purposes, not really used for anything other than
当
that.
时呢，这是不是用来开会的地方？等会我们会去那个议会大厅看那个开会的地方。大家可以照一下周围这个8幅画，在这边8幅画，然后上面那个这个圆圈啊，这个圆圈8幅画呢，它用了75年时间，等会可能会再讲。上面呢，最上面里面那个画呢，用了11个月，一位意大利的画家红色设计把它画了出来，用了11个月。
这幅画。
So all the artwork you see around the room is all original. You have the 4 paintings behind me here along the wall, which were all painted around the 1840s. Each one was done by a different artist, and they all show different scenes that have to do with the colonization and exploration here in the United States. For example, behind me here you can see the scene of Christopher Columbus discovering the New World. Over here to my left you can see the scene of Pocahontas' baptism in Jamestown, Virginia. And you also have the 4 paintings right next to us here along this wall, which are actually the oldest paintings we'll see. They were painted back in the 1820s by the same artist, John Trumbull of Connecticut. These all show different scenes that have to do with the American Revolution before, during, and after. For example, here to my left, you guys can see the presentation of the Declaration of Independence in 1770. Oh, okay. Were they in power at the time? No, it used to be only people that passed away while they were in office, but now it's that changed. Ever since John F. Kennedy laid in state, even if like Gerald Ford was president back in the 70s, he just died in 2006.
Yeah, I know about the presidents, but I was more curious about the 70s. I know the presidents, anybody that has been
I don't.
next.
I'd have to look that up. I'm not
No,
sure.
thank you.
All right, guys. I know the paint carvings, but it is completely flat, painted right there against the wall. It's called the Frieze of American history, and what it is, it's a timeline which shows different scenes throughout North American history. It begins right here behind you. If you line up the door where we came in with the painting, you see up there a lady holding a spear and a shield. That's Lady America. The timeline then starts and goes around clockwise. So it starts where you can see Columbus discovering the New World, and it goes around with 90 different scenes that span a little bit over 400 years, and ends with the Wright brothers. Where you can see the airplane, and this was all mostly painted in the late 1870s.
大家看一下上面那个，在这上面有一幅壁画，这个壁画非常的厉害。这个壁画环绕这个周围这一圈壁画呢，讲的是什么呢？讲的是当时美国这个建国史，美国建国史到现在，建国史从哪时候开始呢？就是在我的正上方前方，一个女的拿着一个矛 ，spare， 拿着一个矛啊，当时就是从那里开始的。然后后面呢，这边就显示了美国当时呢哥伦布发现新大陆啊，然后一直到顺时针方向。然后走，到那边，这是一个美国发展史。再看一下。
And just one last painting, guys, is at the very top of the dome. If you look above us here, the painting up there is called the Apotheosis of George Washington. And it was done by an Italian artist by the name of Constantino Romiti back here in 1865. But it basically shows George Washington ascended into the heavens, becoming a godlike figure. There are two circles of figures in the painting itself. You have this outer circle where you see quite a few classical figures like Roman gods and goddesses, and they're interacting with some of the technology occurring at the time, and also some founding fathers in American history. And the inner circle is where you see George Washington. He's seated, he has a purple robe over his legs, and he's holding onto the hilt of a sword. There are two maidens right next to him that are wrapped in green and blue. They represent victory and liberty. And then there are 13 other maidens in the center circle. They each have a star over their head, and in no particular order, they represent the original 13 colonies here in the United States. Turn it
关掉
off,
OK， 大家看一下，正上方，在我们正上方一幅画呢，当时跟大家有讲，这幅画是由意大利创作者，当时画了。
So far, anything you'd like to know about a specific painting or statue or the building itself while we're here?
有没有问题？
问题，它的历史。
All right, guys, we're gonna head over to the south wing of the building now.
OK， 现在跟着他走了。
This one is south wing.
This is south wing, yeah.
อันนี้คือวิงทางตอนใต้นะครับ
And again, please come all the way into the room. I think we have everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. All right, everyone, this is now the south wing of the Capitol building. Now the current House of Representatives, where they meet, vote, and pass laws for this country today, is straight behind me here through that set of wooden doors down the hall. In fact, everything from this archway behind me here further on down, that was all part of an extension built here in the building back in the 1850s. The same was done on the Senate North side in the 1850s as well, where they still meet today. So this room right here, this is the old House of Representatives, where they spent 50 years voting from 1807, when this room was first built, until when they left down the hall to where they meet today in 1857. The main reason why they left was the fact they were outgrowing it. At one point, they had 237 people in here arguing, shouting, trying to get things done. It was very, very hard to do. They also didn't have the luxury of having their own offices like they do today. Both the House and the Senate each have 3 separate office buildings that they can use. Back then, this was their office right here at their desks. Since they've moved on from this room, a lot about this room has changed. Back when they started the State Statuary Collection in the 1860s, they decided to rename this room National Statuary Hall, which is what the room is known as today. And as you look around, you'll see there are 35 of the 100 state statues in this chamber. So to accommodate for the weight of the statues, they did have to change the floor. The original floor was made out of wood instead of like a theater, so it was actually higher in the back and went down towards the Speaker of the House. They added this marble flooring in the 1860s to help accommodate for the weight of these statues. Also, in 1898, there was a large gas explosion on the Senate, the north side of the Capitol building, and afterwards they went through the process of starting to adding electricity to the building, replacing all the gas, and they also wanted to help fireproof the building. So the ceiling that you see above us is also not original. They decided to tear down the old ceiling, which was plaster and wood, and replace it with plaster and steel, which is what you see today. You also have these flower decorations called rosettes, which you may have noticed in a few other places, and it's all covered with 24 karat. Things that are original to the room, like the walls and the columns. The walls are made out of sandstone. That's as much the original Capitol, and these columns that you see around the room are made out of a type of marble called breccia, which is found locally here in this area. So those are original to when the house met here. And there are also still two statues that are here from when the house met here. You have the statue behind you above that doorway called the Car of History. It's been here since the year 1819. The clock was added a little bit newer. That was added in 1837. It does still work, designed by Simon Willard of Boston, Massachusetts. And then the other original statues behind me here, way up there towards the ceiling, that is Lady Liberty holding the United States Constitution. The eagle that you see represents courage, and the snake represents... All right, guys, I do have a small favor to ask of you. Oh. What's that?
Special, yes, the black card and the white card.
The statue itself?
Yes.
It's Cleo, the Muse of Time, the person in the statue. The Muse of History.
Okay.
What else about it?
Who's the
She's the Muse of History. She's just recording history as it takes place in the room.
OK， 它就是一个记载美国历史的没有什么。What's the name of
The name of the statue is the Car of History.
Car History， 然后它是记载美国历史的 Car History。
没什么名。
Yeah. All right, everyone, we're gonna make our way back through the rotunda slowly. So go ahead and take pictures as you walk back through, but stay close. And then we're gonna make our way downstairs. I have a favor to ask of you, if you don't mind, guys. When we get downstairs, I have to collect back all of your earphones. If you wouldn't mind taking the green cord that was around your neck, and simply place it on the same earphone that has the wire going down. Before collecting downstairs, it would just be a huge help to me. And if you could, stay close to the
才会的地方，首先它是一个没有秘密的房间嘛，它是这里有回音，所以说这里在说话，这里说话的话，整个房间都能听得到。还有这个在这里呢，是在18多少年，1830几年的时候呢，这里是没有空调的，当时刚建成之后是没有空调的，这是。
上厕所。 Or you went to the...
No, he went in running like in. 刚 get to me, तो मैं तो खड़ा हुआ अपनी ट्रिप को ढूंढ रही बस मंगवाए ना इधर बस मंगवाए सारे
बस तो भेज देता ना इसलिए पता नहीं चलता कि कहाँ रुके बस कहाँ हमको लगेगा सच में गई थी
आपसे अर्जुन क्यों नहीं आए
वो हम लोग अपने कहने के बच्चों को सिखाते हैं छोटा है मेरी फ्रेंड के पास आ रही थी वो तुम लोग के बारे में मैं क्या
नहीं मेरा really good friend.
I like to figure out the way how